Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Raising children with the help of grandparents can be such a blessing, but it's not uncommon for parents to become frustrated when they feel their parental choices aren't being respected. So here with tips to set healthy boundaries, we welcome back personal growth strategist and author of Build Your Village, Florence and Romano. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, my friend. So good to be back. So good to see you.
This is a great topic, and I know my mom is watching, the grandmother to my children. So we're going to appreciate the grandparents in our life. It is such a blessing to have their help.
Yes, it is a blessing. That is the right word. I'm not here to attack the grandparents, that's for sure. I grew up in an old school Italian family. My grandparents lived with us most of my life, my mom's parents. So I loved it, and I do understand the blessing that it can be, and also the lessons that children learn being exposed to their grandparents in that way. But just like everything, and you and I talk about that a lot here, you know, there are boundaries in healthy relationships, and parenting today is a little different than when our parents were parenting. And sometimes that can lead to differences in opinions. So we need to be very open-minded sometimes and give each other some grace.
Yes, absolutely. And boundaries, they can be really small and simple things. They don't have to be a big, scary topic.
No, and everyone gets very nervous as soon as you say boundaries. It's like an offensive word because it seems threatening, and you're like, gosh, you know, what am I doing that's wrong? And you kind of get the hair up on your back about it. But like you said, boundaries can be small things. Maybe it's calling before you come over. It can be as simple as that. That can be a boundary. But what you don't want to do is ever leave the parents or the grandparents in a situation where they feel like they don't understand, because that's when you start kind of getting destabilized and you start behaving in all these kind of strange ways because you're trying to figure something out and be a mind reader. So again, communication is key about why you're also setting a boundary, why you're also saying this is important to me.
So how do you kind of reinforce that when you feel like you've communicated a boundary as a parent, but you feel like the grandparents just still want to do things their own way?
Yeah, you know, there's two things here. It's consequences and also picking your battles. And this,
right.
I feel like, is what we do in life, right? We straddle that line. You know, picking your battles, an example, you know, maybe when they're with the grandparents, they stay up a little later, or they have an extra dessert, and you're like, okay, you know what, I can let that go, because part of being a grandparent is being able to spoil the kids in that way. But if your kids are being sleep trained, for example, at that time in their life, and you really need to stay on a strict sleeping schedule, then that's a really important boundary that you have to explain to your parents. You can't expect them to understand how important it is to you unless you explain it to them. So that's a picking your battle situation. And then consequences. If, for example, it's something that is putting your child in danger, maybe your child has an allergy and they're not being careful when they're making lunch or making dinner for the child, and using the same silverware for one child, but the other one with the dairy allergy is, you know, they're just being a little lackadaisical about it. That's actually a health issue. And if they keep doing that, you're not going to feel safe leaving your kids with them, because what if one goes into anaphylactic shock? So that's an extreme example.
Right.
But it is an important example that you can't always think, you know, well, you're just being dramatic if a parent, you know, grandparent says that to you. No, maybe it's a health issue and you need to explain why it's important.
Absolutely. And when you're making that really explicit communication, do you think it helps to lead with love? Because boundaries can really actually protect our relationships when we use them correctly.
Yes, boundaries are actually you fighting for the relationship. I've heard that said, and I just love that. And also, you know, leading with love. I always say you can say what you mean and not say it mean. You certainly can tell your parents, the grandparents, how you feel about something, but the delivery is going to be everything, because you know what? You have to step back and think about it. The reason you're having this conversation with them in the first place is because there's a goal in mind. So think about what that goal is. Think about how your parents, the grandparents, process or digest things, and then back into it that way. Try to get what you need from the conversation by speaking a language, communicating in a way that they're going to be able to understand.
And then when you do have the chance, take the time to show the gratitude for how much the grandparents contribute, because I know my family's life would look so much different without our wonderful grandparents contributing to my kids' lives.
Absolutely. Have those kids write those thank you notes for the time that they spend. You know, that's such a wonderful thing to get in the mail, or get a FaceTime, or make sure you're inviting them to the fun things, the plays and the things at school, or just being able to spend some quality time in a way that's outside of babysitting. And a lot of times these grandparents aren't being paid, and we have to remember that too, that it's not their job. They're doing it because they want to, out of the kindness of their heart, be helpful and be part of the village.
Yeah, it is such a gift and a blessing. Thank you so much. It was great to see you.
So good to see you. And your mom, I'm sure, is a wonderful human being, because look at you. She did a great
She
job
is
with
a
you.
great mom
Kudos
and
to Mom.
Mimi, and we love her so much. Oh, she's going to be very happy. Hey, the book again is Build Your Village, and we'll have more information about that and Florence Ann on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.